Well, happy Thursday, everyone, to the Mamaprenuer Podcast. My name is Robbin, and I am your hostess with the mostest. Welcome to episode 35. Oh my God. Again, I'm still in awe every time we do another show, and just the numbers just keep going up higher. So, episode number 35. Tonight's show is sponsored by Holistic Fluency Consulting, which is a business owned by one of my mompreneurs. Her name is Anika S. Jones. And so I'll talk more about her business later and about how you could be a sponsor for the Mamaprenuer Podcast. All right. All righty. Before I get to my fabulous guest, if this is your first time watching us, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. And if you've been watching us for the past 35 episodes, 34 now, 35, thank you for your continued support of this podcast. And I love everything about it and what it is doing and how it's helping and encouraging people to continue on in their businesses, start businesses, or think outside the box in their business. So, audience, before we get started, I always put you guys to work every episode, and today's not going to be any different. So, first things first, make sure you share the live broadcast, or if you're watching the replay, share the replay. We're doing some drawings tonight, so you must share first, then hashtag Mamapreneur in the comments. That's on YouTube and Facebook, since we're live on those platforms at the moment, okay? So share the live broadcast and hashtag Mamapreneur in the comments. All right? That's the first thing. So next, I would like for all entrepreneurs, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, if you are an entrepreneur, I would like for you to put your business name, tag your business, social media, your links to your website. This podcast is all about engagement and networking. So you never know, your business may be a blessing to somebody in the audience and you don't even know it. So type in your business info in the comments. All right. Nothing happens until you sell something. I'm quoting Mary Kay now. But nobody won't know what you sell until you talk about it. So perfect way to network and get your name out there today. All right. A little bit about me. My name is Robbin, of course. I am based here in the Dallas area, working corporate by day, but am an entrepreneur outside of that. I am the Jackie of all trades. Hashtag Jackie of all trades. I do a little bit of everything. I've been a hairstylist for almost 25 years and transitioning that business into a consulting business for salon suite owners and to help them grow and transform their businesses. That business is called Savvy Salon Systems. We have this podcast. We have now Mamaprenuer Enterprises. We made a brand out of this thing. All right. So more to come on Mamaprenuer Enterprises. Also, I am a paparazzi jewelry consultant. Got a little paparazzi on today, a little something. And that is Rejuvenate Jewels with a Z Boutique. That's Facebook and Instagram. And of course, the podcast. Make sure you're following the podcast platform at Mamaprenuer Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We are out here. All right. So this show is pretty much for any entrepreneur, no matter where you are in your business, whether you're a baby, just getting started, thinking about getting started, you've been in it for a little bit, or if you're a vet in the game and, you can always learn new things because trends are always changing. So this show is for all entrepreneurs. One thing I love about this show, you do not have to be in the Dallas area to be on this show or to like the show, to watch the show, because I get to highlight people from all over the country. Tonight is a great example. I get to highlight someone, she way in Nevada. Where the good weather at. I'm a little jealous, just a smidge jealous. But before I introduce my fabulous guest, and it's her birthday too, So y'all make sure you give her some birthday love in the comments because it is her national holiday. I have told her that she is now 21 again. I will introduce her shortly. So, a few announcements before we go any further. Myself and I didn't give her flowers yet. So before I get to my announcement, I like to always show love to the fabulous and fierce. She just had a birthday as well. CEO of the Power Team. Her name is Kesha Kesh. This platform wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. I would like to give her flowers. And she's behind the scenes being my engineer at the moment. So it was her birthday as well. And wish Kesha Kesh a happy birthday. She's 21 again. Amen. 21 again. Kesha and I are actually doing a contest. So if you are a makeup artist in the audience, let's say that again. Makeup artist in the audience. If you are one and you want to showcase your skills while winning a cash prize, Kesha and I are sponsoring the Battle of the Beat makeup competition, where makeup artists from all over the country can show their stuff. We are still taking entries, so it's not too late. And if you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to myself or Kesha for further details. Limited spots available. So make sure you reach out to us soon because the contest is next month. So, all right. Next, have you been to the Mamaprenuer website lately? You should. You should. I got nice t-shirts for sale. Make sure you head over there and buy you a t-shirt or three. A t-shirt or three. All right. Also, I would like to do a shout out or a call out calling all female entrepreneurs. I am now booking for 2023 for the Mamaprenuer Podcast. So if you are a female entrepreneur, does not matter where you are in the country, please reach out to me. And you want more exposure for your business, please reach out to me and set up a call so we can chat about details on how you can be a guest like our fabulous guest today on this platform for next year. Next year is in a couple of weeks, y'all. How quickly this year has gone by. So, again, calling all female entrepreneurs. I am booking for next year for this podcast, okay? So reserve your spot today, all right? Lastly, before I go into my next spiel, affiliate marketing. This is something I've been kind of talking about for the past few months. And of course, I have a sponsor tonight who took me up on this offer. Her name again is Anika S. Jones, former educator, and now she's doing consulting for education. I will post the link in the comments on something that she has going that's going to be, it's a project she's doing that starts in January. So I'll make sure to send that over. But holisticfluency.com. Check it out. She has a Facebook page and a website, holisticfluency.com, if you want to know more information. But I love when an educator says, you know what, let me transition and do something else. And so this is amazing what she is doing. So make sure you guys check out her website, support her if you need her support in any way. She does have a link where you can book a call with her as well, okay? Shouts out to my Mamaprenuer Tribe member, Anika Jones. Speaking of the Mamaprenuer Tribe, if you are a female entrepreneur and you're looking for community from ladies from all over the country, please look up the Mamaprenuer Tribe and it's in Facebook and request an invite into the group. I'd be happy to have you on. We're not quite at 300 people yet, but we're getting there. So it's a great way to network, great way to have community and connect with other ladies. All right. All right. Next, if you've watched this show, you know that I love affirmations and manifestation and all the things, believing that if you speak positive things into your life, positive things will happen. So tonight's not any different. So if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you have a pen and a paper handy. And I hope that you guys enjoy these affirmations as I did writing them down, well, typing them in my phone in my notes section. That's how we do it. And again, if you like to kind of learn these yourself and kind of write these out yourself, you can do them yourself and speak them daily to yourself. It can be short and sweet. It doesn't have to be a paragraph. All right. So the first affirmation is something short and sweet. I am healthy and healed. I am healthy and healed. Okay. Next, I release any stress and or anxiety that I have about the unknown. I release any stress and anxiety that I have about the unknown. Next is I achieve my goals for this month with ease. I achieve my goals for this month with ease. Okay. Next, I will honor my commitments as an entrepreneur and be a person of my word. I will honor my commitments as an entrepreneur and be a person of my word. I will begin each day with gratitude and expectancy. I will begin each day with gratitude and expectancy. God's favor and blessings are always with me. God's favor and blessings are always with me. A few more to go. I will receive promotion and elevation in God's timing. I will receive promotion and elevation in God's timing. And lastly, major doors will open for my business in the month of December. Major doors will open for my business in the month of December. All right. That's it for the affirmations. I hope you ladies and gents enjoyed that. I enjoy writing. I write mine out daily, so I love being able to share that piece with you all. All right. All righty. So before I introduce my guest, I always have a topic of some sort to discuss with you all, whether it's in regards to everyday life, if it's in regards to business, as a mother, work-life balance, all the things. But tonight, I am going to talk real briefly about what is your word for 2023. Have you even started thinking about that? What does that mean? Your word for 2023, or word of the year, I'll say that. It's kind of how you would like to set the tone for the year. So if you haven't thought of your word of the year, kind of think about that. Think about where you kind of want to go in life. That's life, that's in business. And kind of start thinking about that, praying about that, and kind of set the tone from there. I know some people don't quite think about that. They immediately, when they start planning for the following year, they'll, go to resolutions, or they'll go to a vision board, which I'm, not against the vision board. I hosted a vision board party yesterday for my Mamaprenuer tribe. I am all for a vision board. But I like a vision board with a theme. So that's where my word of the year comes in. So just want to put that out there. A little something on your mind. Kind of start thinking, because again, 2023 is in a few weeks. Christmas already. We're 2 weeks from Sunday. So before you know it, it'll be here. Next piece I kind of want to talk about for next year, kind of get the ball rolling, get your mind thinking, and that is stepping outside of your comfort zone for 2023. If you don't do nothing different, you're not going to get different results. You're going to get the same results each time. So if it's something you want to do differently in your business and you're scared to do it, some people, this podcast scares them. They like, oh Lord, what am I going to talk about? I'm nervous. And then when you see them on the live, you can't even tell they're nervous. And then they talk to me after the live is off. It's like, man, this was great. I'd do it again. I was scared. I almost canceled on you. So don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. That's in your personal life and in your business. You never know, that one thing you may step out of your comfort zone to do may be the biggest blessing to you. So that's my little tidbit for tonight for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. All right. Now, introducing the fabulous birthday girl. I met her in a Facebook group. See, it's good to connect with folks, okay? In a Facebook group. And I met her and we chatted and we decided on which day that we were going to have her on. And she was like, that's my birthday, but you know what? I'm coming on. And so I'm glad that she is gracing us with her presence. She is amazing. I can't wait for you guys to hear her journey. And so I'm going to give her the floor, the birthday girl, Miss Soraya.
Well, thank you for all the applause. I truly appreciate the opportunity to be here with you this evening. Yes, it is my birthday, and that is okay. This is important. This is something that I would absolutely do on my birthday every single year. So having me, I truly appreciate it. So again, my name is Soraya. I generally go by Soraya Christine because I am also an author, and so all of my books are written under Soraya Christine. So that's how people kind of know me in the community, from the books and the different things that I do in the community. So yeah, a little about me. I am the big old age of 48 today, but I deem it a blessing to be here because my story has definitely been my story has definitely been one of windy roads, lots of hills, lots of valleys, lots of bad decisions, lots of dangerous situations, and so I'm very grateful that God kept His hand upon me and allowed me to see chapter 48. So I have been an entrepreneur for a very long time. Since 2009 is when my entrepreneurial journey started uh, outright. I do also still work corporate as well. And I wanted to say that, Miss Robbin, you are like my twin flame. Sitting and listening to you talk, I was like, man, we have a lot in common. And also just looking at how beautiful you are, honey, because them sparkles, and I love sparkles. So that even in itself, just I was like, yes, come on. And orange, oh, my fave. So I'm loving that. But I also am a hashtag Jackie as well. I am definitely a Jackie of all trades. I always have been. That's how my mind works. So I am always into different things and trying new things and having multiple things going on at the same time a lot of times. So
Love it. Love it. And I feel like if I were to slow down and not have as much to do, I'd be bored out of my mind because I'm
I
so used to going, you know.
yeah. I can attest to that. You know, it's funny that you say that because I lived in Nevada before for like 17 years and I moved to Georgia in 2020, like in the middle of the pandemic. I moved there for like 2 years. When I first got there, I had been so busy and so consumed with entrepreneurship that I was like, I'm gonna take a break. I'm going because I was having to start over anyway, right? In a new
Right.
so I was like, I'm gonna take a break for a while. So I took like 3 months off and didn't do anything but literally sat on my couch and binge watched Blacklist. That's what I did for 3 months. And so but it felt good initially, but it got to the point where I was like jittery. I felt like a drug addict or something. I was like, I have to do something. Like I can't. So again, I started to pick up all the random sticks laying around because I couldn't continue to sit still. So I truly understand that.
How did you do during the pandemic? Those first few months. How did you? Yeah.
It was rough. It's so funny because I was actually sick before, like right before the announcement came. I was really sick. So I think I may have had it before it got announced because I had all those same symptoms. But I was already at home sick when the shutdown happened.
Hmm.
So I kind of flowed right into that. And then it was interesting. I was thankfully I had the job at the time, so I was able to work from home and have that income because it hindered my business because
Hmm.
what my business at the time was teaching CPR, which I still also do as well. But that was like my business, my side business. So I couldn't do that during that time. So that was a little bit rough to not have that side income coming in.
Yeah. So talk about your current business, Lilac Health and Healing. Talk about it.
Yeah. So Lilac is an acronym that God gave me in the middle of the night, actually, for a ministry that I do. I'm also an ordained pastor. And so I started a women's ministry some years ago. And how that happened is God woke me up in the middle of the night and said, write down Lilac. And I was like, it was like 2 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm asleep. Like, what? Like, why are we writing? Why are we talking about flowers in the middle of the night, Lord? Like,
Hmm.
what are we doing? And so he wouldn't let me go back to sleep though. So I wrote down this word lilac. I'm like, okay, what are we doing with this word? Like, what does this mean? So he was like, look it up. I'm like, okay. So this is the conversation that we having at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay. So I Google lilac on my phone. Turns out there are multiple colors of the lilac flower, which by the way, I didn't know. And I was like, wow. So now I'm a little bit intrigued. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, every color represents something in the spiritual world. And so that's what Google was showing me. Like each color of the lilac flower had a significant spiritual meaning. And I was
Wow.
what? So I was shocked. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like writing down all this information. And he said, now that's an acronym and it stands for Ladies Influencing Life Altering Change. And I want you to teach people my word in that way so you can create change in their lives based on the colors of the flower. So when I started doing Bible studies, I would take one of those colors of the lilac flower and that's what I would base my Bible study on. Like whatever that meant. Like for instance, the white lilac represents purity um, and innocence. So I would do Bible studies based on that. So it just depended on, what I focused on for that time. So I was just like blown away by that. And so later on, when I moved to Georgia and I wanted to start a business because I wanted something to allow me to still make money and not have to work all the time and all the reasons why we become an entrepreneur. And I wanted to start a coaching business because I have been life coaching people for years in the community anyway, following the production of my very first book back in 2012. I started being an advocate for domestic violence and different things, and people would always send people my way for advice and coaching and things like that. So I was doing that anyway.
Hmm.
So when I was trying to think of a name for it, it was like you already have a name. Lilac is still the name. It's still, you're still doing the same thing. It's just also going to be a business now. And I was like, wow, okay. And that makes sense because that's still my goal. My goal is always to influence life altering change. That's always the goal, regardless of what I do. So it made sense for me to keep that same name for both the ministry and the business. And so that's kind of how the coaching practice was born. And my focus has always been to help people to heal from trauma. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's the focus. I coach in other areas as well. Like I've done some coaching with people on public speaking and relationships and things like that. But my core, my what I really enjoy doing is helping people to heal from traumatic events. And it could be things from their childhood that they've never dealt with or gotten over. It could be more recent things like a divorce or domestic violence or sexual assault or any a bad breakup. It could be really anything. Grief, loss. So that's kind of what I do. I do that on an individual basis, but I really enjoy doing it in a group format. So I
Mm-hmm.
have like these workshops that I do. I actually have two different ones. One is called Right to Heal, and the other one is called Healing from Trauma. And trauma is an acronym as well. And so I just kind of help people to dig a little bit deeper and uncover where the trauma is coming from and kind of help them work through those things. And um, yeah, that's really it.
I love that. Get to the root of it.
Yeah, you
I
have
love
to. Otherwise, what are you doing? It's still going to be
glossing over
there.
it. Just
Yeah.
glossing over it.
Yeah.
What do you see as your target audience for the coaching, for the trauma coaching? What have you seen? What has been like the common trend as
You
far
know,
as
it's so funny because people always say that you have to find your target audience, right? And so I initially set out to focus on women, because I'm one. And so that that had always been my target in my mind. But the funny thing is, I ended up helping a lot of men. And even through my books, when I was focusing on women, the men were like, hey, we enjoy this too. We suffer from things too. Like, why are you leaving us out? And it was just like, well,
mm,
I never thought about you guys in that way. Like I never thought that I could be the one to help you guys as well. But a lot of my clients have been guys, and they've been, you know, I want to say even the better clients in the sense of like really wanting and willing to do the work. And so it's been interesting that the men have stepped up and wanted to get the help. It's a different dynamic in working with them. So I would just say my target is anybody probably between the ages of, I would say, probably mid to late 20s to probably late 40s has been kind of where I've seen most people fall in. I do have some teenagers that I work with as well, but the majority of them fall kind of in that 20-year span. And
mm,
people who have suffered from, the majority of them have suffered from childhood trauma, that they really weren't able to put a pin on because they're wondering why their lives are still in turmoil, why they're still making the decisions that they're making, why things are still happening in the same patterns, and they're not realizing that, or they weren't realizing that it stems from things that happened in their childhood. And so once we get to that root, things start to make sense for them, and they can start to, kind of peel those onion layers back and start to put the pieces back together.
okay. Now with the guys, are they with you on a personal one-on-one sessions, or are they actually coming to group?
Yeah, so all of the men that I have worked with have been one-on-one clients.
I figured that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of guys don't want to show that. They're raised, not to have, feelings and emotions, and you're supposed to, you
Yeah.
don't cry, you don't,
Yeah.
none of that. And you're supposed to just, And a lot of them just keep that stuff in until they combust. So
And that's the barrier that I have to break through a lot of times. But you know what? It's like that too with the females, because if you think about it, like even like me, I was raised in a household where what happens in the house stays in the house. You don't talk about it again, right? So a lot of us carry that as well, and especially Black women, because have to be we have to be more I guess hardened than the rest of the world, because we carry a lot of weight and we're expected to not show this angry Black woman syndrome, or we're not,
mhm.
and so there's so much to who we are and how we have to carry ourselves. So a lot of women have that same barrier to break through as well. And I want to quickly address, yes, I do work with people with depression and anxiety. Actually, a lot of my clients come to me for that reason. Like they're coming to me because of depression and anxiety, and they're not understanding why. Like a lot of times, especially with anxiety, because it'll come out the blue and you don't even know what's happening. And so that's how we start, and we have to kind of go backward to uncover why, and why is it now rearing its ugly head after so long, so there are so many variables and pieces and parts to this whole healing thing.
Yeah. And anxiety and depression, man, it heightened through the past couple years. I think it came out more during the pandemic alone.
Yeah,
And some people may not have known what to call that.
yeah.
So, um, so like if someone wanted to come to you for services, do you do like a consult first, or how's that process?
Yeah, so I generally do a free consultation. It's usually about 15 minutes, maybe not. Just depends on the person and what they want to talk about in that 15 minutes. But I'm trying to kind of understand how they've been feeling and what they've been going through in that process to determine whether we're a good fit, to work together. I can't say that every single person is my client, right? Like I would love for it to be, and I would love to work with everybody, but it's just not the reality, so we try to determine whether we even like each other,
Yeah.
whether we're comfortable with each other on that call. And then from there, what we do is just devise a schedule to meet. So usually I try to start meeting weekly in the beginning, um, depending on how deep I feel that we are going to end up needing to go. Um, so weekly initially, and then we could tailor that back later on if we need to. But most people that I have tend to want to continue to meet weekly, because
Oh,
not only are they dealing with stuff that they're currently dealing with, and now they're starting to deal with past stuff, but there's also life still happening, right? So
yep.
things are still coming up. And because they're not in a state of being healed yet, those things are still hitting them like boulders, So most of the time, they want to continue to meet weekly as well.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So do you get to meet with people from all over the country? Or is it just locally? So all over the country. Okay.
Yeah,
I
because
know
it's
that
virtual.
question is coming. So that's what made
Yeah,
me ask you that.
yeah. And I love that. I love that the pandemic has kind of opened that up, to where, entrepreneurs can reach a broader audience than they
And
could have, before. And so now I like for the past few workshops even that I've done, I've had people in those workshops from all over the country. And that's so exciting to me. I just feel like it allows me to reach way more people rather than just in my local community.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Now, with the coaching aspect of it all, how has that transitioned from you just talking to people about it in ministry to making it into a business? How was that transition for you?
Um, I I guess it wasn't really hard because it's kind of the same thing, it's kind of the same thing. I was doing certain services. ki- I mean, workshops and stuff. I was still doing that. I was still doing that in the ministry. I would have like I would like partner with churches and stuff, and then I started one on my own, and I would have women come and we would just talk about different topics, like I said, related to the lilac flower and the different colors. And so it was really just doing the same thing, but that's what I was saying. Like I wanted to be able to do something and make money too,
Absolutely.
you know? And so I was like, well, this whole life coaching thing kind of blew up for people. So I'm like, let me do that, because that's pretty much the same thing that I've been doing. So I don't have to make any major changes other than the fact that I did go through getting a certification as a life coach. So I did that. And then, the obvious building your business stuff that you have to do with your local authorities.
Yeah.
Um, so other than that, it wasn't difficult to transition at all, because it was basically the same sort of work.
Okay. Yeah. I always ask that thinking because you were doing it for free in a sense, if you know what I mean. I
Yeah.
think any coach consultant can agree with me. You was doing whatever your line of work was or whatever. You was doing it for gratis.
Yes.
And you like, you know what? You woke up one moment, or in your case, 2 in the morning, and said, you know what? I might want to make this into a
Yeah.
business. You touched on that, so I'm touch on that real quick. So, what is it about 2 or 3 a.m. that God decides He wants to wake you up with something? I
I
remember when
know.
I made the decision to go private with my salon. I worked for Sport Clips for a long time and part time, and so I was like, all right, well, I think I'm ready to go independent. And so He woke me up at about 3 o'clock, name everything. So as you saying your story, I'm like, that sounds familiar. 3 o'clock in the morning with the name. Okay, you need to start looking in these areas. I was up at 3 o'clock looking up locations to
Yes.
possibly have my salon suite. What is that about? And luckily, one of the ones that I ended up finding in that search, that was my home for 3 years.
And it wasn't luckily. That's why he woke you up, so you could find it at that hour. You may not have found it at 8 o'clock in the morning. You had to find it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what it is. Even when I became a minister, he woke me up in the middle of the night, 3 in the morning, about that conversation. Like, I need you to go into ministers training. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Do you even know me? Like, so that was a whole fight in the middle of the
Yeah,
night. So I don't know, but maybe just because it's that quiet, alone, dark time where he can really have your undivided attention, because throughout the day, we're busy with stuff. We work, we got kids, we have all kinds of stuff going on, and we may not hear his voice in the same way, that we
yeah.
in the middle of the night.
He said, let me wake you up about 3, 4 hours before it's time for you to get up to go to work, and not make it where you can't go back to sleep. You're gonna have to stay awake, zone in, girl. I was like, Lord, I'm looking at my imaginary watch at the time. Now, I got to be at work at 7.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
3 a.m.
Yes.
Too funny. So how do you balance it all? You minister, got the business, parent, all the fun. How do you balance it all?
Grace. I try not to think about everything in its totality all at once, because that's overwhelming, right? Or it
Yeah.
could. And I am a very firm believer in the question/statement. I even have it on my wall at work. I use it in my coaching sessions. And the question is, how do you eat an elephant? Right? The answer
Mm-hmm.
is one bite at a
At a
time.
time. Yep.
So I have to live my life by that.
Yeah.
Because if I slip up and don't remember that, the walls seem to cave in. Yes, my services are virtual, definitely. So I just, I feel like I have to kind of just, like, this is what I'm doing at this time. I'm at work from these hours to these hours, even though the family still calls throughout the day and all of that stuff.
Of
And
course.
you know and then when I get home, like, I'm hanging out, because my since I moved back to Nevada, my middle daughter, and I still have a 16-year-old in the house as well, but my middle daughter and my youngest granddaughter, they also live with me. So I have to give them their love and their attention and their time, right? Even though I'm tired. So I give
Mm-hmm.
them a few minutes. Then I got to come in here and, maybe work on my business a little bit. I can't say that I do that every single night, right? Every single night, because it's exhausting. So I might just get my clothes ready for tomorrow and then go to bed. I've been to bed several nights, the last couple nights at 7 o'clock.
Wow.
Because I've been tired. But then you throw a monkey wrench in there and then everything blows up. Like I just had COVID and I was sick for a month and a half,
Oh,
you
I'm
know.
sorry.
So it was just like you throw that in there and that just kind of blows everything up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just you gotta just take things how you can, and one thing at a time and not worry or stress about the things that you cannot control or that you cannot, fit into your 24-hour time frame. Don't It's going to be okay. It's going to be there tomorrow, you know? So that's kind of how I have to look at things and just straight up grace.
Yeah, because we can sometimes be really hard on ourselves
Hmm.
and give ourselves grace. It's okay.
Yeah, you
You'll
have to.
get it done tomorrow. Whatever you didn't get to, there's
Yeah.
always tomorrow. um, I know you have another business venture that you talked about with CPR. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I've actually had that business since 2009. So what happened was in 2009, I was working for a hospital. I got recruited to teach because I've also been a phlebotomist for like going on 29 years. That was my
Wow.
And so I got recruited to teach phlebotomy. And so I had to actually, when I took that job, I had to actually build the program. So I was their program director for phlebotomy, but the program was not built. So I had to build it. So that gave me the experience in developing curriculum and doing all that. And so after working there, I was like, I can do this on my own. So what I set out to do was open my own phlebotomy training.
Mm-hmm.
And so that didn't go as planned. So it kind of morphed into something else. I was like, well, what can I still do, and kind of stay in this space? And so CPR kind of fell into my lap. So I got certified in that. And so I've been doing that ever since in Nevada for all those years. And then I also did it when I lived in Georgia for those couple years and still doing it now that I'm back in Nevada. And so I generally train groups. I don't do any individual classes anymore. I started out doing that, but now I just do groups. So for businesses, I go to businesses and train their groups, or so medical or any other corporation or company or school or daycare or whatever.
Okay. Look at you, just helping people all around. If you're not their life coach, and helping them heal from trauma, you said we're gonna help you with some CPR. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Jackie, my other Jackie of all
Yeah.
trades. So as
That's
a
not
Jack-
it. I got all kind of stuff going on. Yes, I'm definitely a Jackie.
now as a Jackie of all trades, how do you prevent burnout? Because it's bound to happen when we got 9,222 things going
Yeah. And,
simultaneously.
and it does. That's why I told you when I moved to Georgia, I didn't do anything for 3 months because I was burnt out. I instantly changed my phone number and sat down for 3 months because I didn't want to
That's
even
where you were.
think. Yeah. So, and that's what happens. But like I said, what I try to do now is try to take things just moment by moment. Like I can't try to do everything all the time. And it's difficult for me because that's how my mind operates. I want to do everything. I have so many ideas always swirling
Of
around,
course.
always. And I'm really good at coming up with catchy things and, all of that sort of thing. So even with that piece of my creativity, I took that and turned that into a business. So I call myself the brainstorming bestie. So people can hire me to sit down with them and brainstorm for their business or whatever it is that they need to come up with. Because a lot of
Love-
times people don't have like support, and they don't have another person like a sounding board or somebody else to bounce ideas off of and things like that. And that's my forte. Like, I'm really good at that. I'm really good at coming up with ideas. And so I figured if I can help people in that space and do that, then maybe that will satisfy whatever it is in my brain that loves to come up with all of these ideas and all these different businesses and stuff. So,
Okay, Jackie. Jackie. I know your government name. You're Jackie tonight. Now, do you have a team or is it just you?
oh gosh, it's just me. That's the hard part in this.
I can
It's
relate.
um I wish I had a team though. I really want to have a team. And but I just, financially I don't feel like I'm there yet. And it's difficult to have a team from the ground where there's no money coming in.
Yeah.
Like not enough to be paying a salary. So yeah.
With I got you. I got you a question in just a minute. What requirements to be a guest on my show? Yeah, I got you. Hold please. Uh, and what's next?
Oh gosh.
You got 9,222 things going. You're the brainstorming bestie. I know you got something next. What's next for you
Um,
for the brand?
I really just want to continue to build the coaching practice. I do have some other side hustles, like I do, because honestly, I believe that we should have multiple streams of income, right? So,
Amen.
like, but I also believe that you shouldn't have to be quote unquote working in all those streams. So I do have like an Amazon store and, like Shopify and like Etsy, and I have like things like that I do with different little stuff that I sell as well. So I want those to grow, but I really want the coaching practice to grow. I was talking to one of my best friends earlier this morning, and I was telling her that like sometimes I get down, and I do. Like sometimes I get down on myself, and I'm like, maybe I should just get a second job, and like no,
Mhm.
and she's like, you are an amazing coach, and she was just speaking life into me, and I think we all go through that also because we all get inside our own,
Yep.
you know, and so it's just, and I know the crazy thing is like I know I'm a really good coach because the people that I've coached over the years have told me so. Like they've told me, the things that I've helped them through and helped them with, and just, being able to see the difference in them and how they feel about themselves. And so it's so meaningful, but it's so hard. I won't lie. It's so hard to get clients, and
Yeah.
to get clients that stay and that, are able to continue with you. And so it's just a lot of figuring out what works best, so that's kind of where I'm at. I do, I do. It's weird that this is even getting ready to come out my mouth, but I do kind of enjoy my corporate job, too right now. So I do intend to stay there too.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case though. You would have asked me that 2 months ago, I wouldn't have said that. Because really, I'm a person that hates working for somebody else, but
Mhm.
the team that I work with makes it amazing. So I'm going to try to stay and continue to do that full time, but I definitely want to build the coaching practice.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. I'm the same as far as the my coaching practice to growing it and staying consistent with it. I'm
Yeah.
like
I-
you, almost hollered as you got through talking about those times where you were kind of down.
yeah.
Um, I've been in the same situation with the coaching business. I was talking to another coach, interviewing them to come on the show, and we were talking about our patience. Coaching practice has taught me
Mm,
patience, and I'm not patient now by
mm.
any means. So it is teaching me, and it's teaching you too,
Oh, yeah.
a little bit of patience and narrowing down who is that right fit, that right client for you. Yeah, so I can relate to that. We be here all day, all night, pass our time talking about that. Um, and let everyone know what your giveaway is today. That you will be giving away one item today. But they must share the live broadcast to get entered. Go ahead and tell them.
Yeah, you got to share the broadcast. But I am giving away one of my books. And I'll actually let you choose which book. So the winner can choose. I have for an option my very first book, which is called When is Strong, Strong Enough. And that book is kind of what started all of this. And it the subtitle to it is How to Push Through the Pain. And so that's what it talks about, like all of the painful experiences that I've been through since early childhood and kind of how I pushed through them, and to give you motivation to be able to do the same. So there's that one. Then I have a set that you can get. It's about divorce, and it is for women. It's a woman's guide to surviving divorce and other matters. And there is a journal that I will actually give away with the book. That one, or the other one, which I think is amazing for entrepreneurs specifically, is actually a book that I wrote for myself because my mind is all over the place. And it's
Yeah.
called Shiny Ball Syndrome: How to Fix Your Focus. And so that one is a very small, very easy read, but super powerful on helping you to be able to focus on a thing and kind of work to make that thing successful. So you can choose which book you prefer to get.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'll do the drawing as soon as this live is over. And if you are the winner, Soraya will get back to you on how to get you your prize. But you must share the live broadcast because I am able to tell if you shared. Sharing is caring.
It is.
Thank you so much for coming on today on your national holiday, gracing us with your presence and, encouraging and inspiring people along the way. I just thank you so much for joining me today, sis. I appreciate you, and I just know that God is going to do amazing, amazing things for you the rest of this year into 2023. And if you don't have your word of the year yet, I need you to start thinking about it. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So a few things before we wrap up. So again, I talked earlier about our sponsor. Tonight's sponsor, Anika S. Jones. She's watching us tonight. Hey girl, hey. She'll actually be coming on next month, so be on the lookout. She also sent me this link to a rite of passage countdown. So I'll post the link, and it's Navigating Adolescence. So I will put that link in the chat for you guys to kind of check that out. She got some great things coming up for Q1 of next year. So support. That's holisticfluency.com. All right. So I'm going to do another plug. So since the question was out there, I was going to talk about it anyway before we close out. So if you would like to be on the podcast as a guest and you want more exposure for your business, qualifications are you must be a lady. Even though in 2 weeks we're going to have the fellas only episodes. I got 2 fellas in 2 weeks. That's going to be cool. So make sure you watch in 2 weeks. All right. So I love that little calm clap she gave. She's like, oh, okay. But yeah, as long as you're a female entrepreneur, you're looking to grow your business on a fabulous platform within the Mamaprenuer Podcast and Power Team. You can be anywhere in the country, long as you got some good Wi-Fi, some good lighting so we can see you. So like right now we see Soraya's beautiful self. We want to be able to see you, and you get to talk about how fabulous you are. If you have any events coming up, promotions coming up, any of the things. That is pretty much your qualifications for coming on the show. And you must be fabulous. Okay? Come on. I know most folks when they come on, they be so nervous, but don't be nervous. It's just me you're talking to, and then everybody else out there in podcast land. So if you are interested in being a guest, again, I am booking for 2023. Please make sure you reach out to myself or at Mamaprenuer Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, or Power Team. And if you reach out to Power Team, they'll get back to me, and I'd be happy to set up a call and talk to you more about all the details and upcoming dates. Okay. Make sure you are following the Power Team platform. There are so many different shows. Our fearless leader, Kesha Kesh and Dr. Real, they have their show on Wednesday nights, first and third Wednesdays. We have my girl Steph, the educator. She is the opposite Thursdays of myself. I'm second and fourth. She is first and third. We have Buying, Selling with Bree. Bree is a real estate agent, so she's talking all things real estate. So make sure that you tune in. She's on Monday nights. I know we have a new host coming on. Not sure when she's starting, but be on the lookout for that. And if you are a podcaster or want to start your own podcast, come on to the Power Team. We are the best thing smoking, and we are played pretty much everywhere. So tonight's broadcast and all of our broadcasts for audio and video are played on Facebook and YouTube. If you're not watching us live, you can watch the replay. Oh, she comes in January. Okay, thank you. So we have a new podcast host coming in January, and then the audio only versions are played everywhere. Apple, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, you name it, we're there. So that is all I have for tonight. Again, make sure that you look out for me in 2 weeks. New episode with my fellas. Can't wait to chat with them and promote them and their brands right before Christmas, right before I take my sabbatical, because that's what we're doing. We're getting it all in before we rest, because we don't know how to rest, but I'm forcing myself to rest. Yeah. So you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a good night.